Everyone, I hope you're all well. Welcome to my channel. If you've not been here before, it's where I talk about twin flame process. So this is a reading for the new moon in Scorpio, which is today in the UK. It's 25th of October 2022, and it's also an eclipse. So just to share what I've already found out about this moon that I've gone through before I get the cards out is right, there's two things that I've had happening. One is major triggers and the other is little triggers. With the little triggers, which is things like irritable things around the house mainly, like not being able to get the top off something, you know, that kind of stuff, just really small stuff, is as soon as it's been happening, I've just been saying, little trigger, about everything. Which is like 3 days, started about 3 days ago before the moon became new. Did I say new moon before? It's a new moon today. Also losing my mind, so that's another thing that's going on right now. And big triggers. So I've had some really profound big triggers going on with other people, relating to other people. That's through walking my dog, which I'm doing. Obviously been doing that for a while. So that's where these people are coming along. So that's been setting some stuff off. And the biggest trigger was about me unleashing my power. So verbalize. They've all been about that, the ones with people. Verbalizing. Being completely honouring myself. So that's who I am in this lifetime and my personality. So it's not being spiritual, it's not being like wifty-wafty or pious or with grace or any of that nonsense. It's absolutely bombastic. I told someone to fuck off in the street, so and I shouted it. So it's kind of like the masculine coming through and owning itself, and it's coming through me. So I noticed that going on. And then what they told me about the moon is, and I think I said either in the last video for about a moon or the one before, is that I said in that video that it was like the head is through, right? Like a birth canal, the head has come through, so the rest of the body just has to come through. Well, this moon is the rest of the body coming through, so it's actually clearing everything and it's an emptying out. So it's going to feel like an emptying out. So for example, the triggers that I'll just talk about the major trigger, like I was saying with the little triggers. And I've just been instantly going, little trigger. I see what you're doing there. You're seeing if I'll get triggered by that little trigger. So the clearing out is a complete recognition of a trigger and kind of like a different relationship to the trigger there. The big triggers, where I did the thing where I shouted at somebody, I had that normal human thing come up in me afterwards, which was, oh my God, what did I just say? And I had two halves of myself coming up. The normal self, well, you could say two halves. Let's put it this way, feminine and masculine coming up. So it's about duality, this triggering. And the duality was the feminine coming up and saying, oh my God, what did you just say to that person? Talking to myself right inside. And the masculine coming up going, just forget it, get on with it, ignore it, don't think about it. Quite hard line energy coming up inside of me. So there's a lot of duality as well with this moon because it's the coming together, because it's the completion. So it's the ending, which means you come together inside of yourself, masculine and feminine, which means a return to self, in that you become profoundly your human self again. So that is doing things that are really profoundly human, and i.e. not with grace, in that like, I'm so spiritual, I'm an energetic being, and then I'm human afterwards, which of course we are, but we're human now. So, and that's the owning of the masculine. So it's about the duality and coming together, about birth, about everything completing and finishing off and ending inside. So that is going to feel like an emptying out, like you've emptied out everything inside yourself, like there's nothing left to do. Because the self-love that comes in when you've been triggered, after the trigger, like, no, you've got to love yourself more, and it's automatic that you do. It's not like a telling yourself you have to, it's just like it's just like a letting go, right? If that makes sense. So, a letting go as well, which is everything ending, which is like the birth, which is like the rest of the body coming through and being born. And it's coming through, and it's water, because this moon is water and it's eclipse. So it's a huge transformative clearing out and an emptying out of everything. Basically just everything that you've gone through and experienced, all the detritus, all the like nonsense, anything where you've come up against resistance. So resistance is unhappiness inside yourself. And also you're connected to another, so it's a clearing out. And because you're clearing out the twin flame process, it's the clearing out of resistance for your twin as well. So it's them. So for example, the trigger that came up with me where I shouted at someone was necessary because for your masculine twin to move forward, they have to own themselves completely. So they have to do something which is basically contacting you where they're not going to care about the result. So the reason they don't contact you and you don't have your coming together, your reunion, is because they care too much about the after effect of coming forward. Right, so that is the fear that prevents them from coming forward. So for them to come forward without a care in the world, like, well, I'm just going to do it, all these thoughts of what could happen if I contact this person are no longer relevant. It's like, well, okay, all that might have been how I felt, and yeah, I was worried and I wasn't doing it because I'm concerned about the after effects or what she's going to think of me or what he's going to think of me or what the world thinks of me. I'm just going to do it, and I don't care what the after effects are, and I don't care what anyone thinks of me. I'm just going to do it. So you doing something, you being triggered into doing something where the after effect is you going, I don't care that I did that. I just did that because that's me, and I don't care about what they think, and I don't care if anybody else heard, and I don't care about what the world thinks, and that's it. And kind of then there's laughter after that. So you could say after the moon comes the laughter, because the birth is the trigger. This effect that goes on, that's transported to your twin, transported through the energetic connection to your twin, and then their ability to do something that they don't care about the after effect or the result or which way it goes, like whether they get a good response or no response or a bad response from you. It's not that they don't care. It's just that they're willing to do it without worrying about what that could be, kind of a thing. So you are propelled to do something that has that effect on yourself, if you see what I mean. So that's what the transformative energy of this moon is. So the other thing is, they're talking about I moved into this house on the 1st of November 2018, all the ones, right? If you reduce that 2018 down. And they're talking about the 1st of November again, basically. It's really important, 111. And of course it's 222, so it all still reduces down to 11, 11, 11. That, if you want to look at it written down. And separated out. And 6, if you add the 2s up even, of the 2022, it's 6, which is reunion energy, 6 of Cups. There's lots of ways of looking at things, always, obviously. There's lots of ones there. There's a 6 there. Even the 2s, 222 is something they showed me years ago. I kept seeing houses, and even now there's 2 houses. I'm not looking out for them, and they just pop up. It's 222. There's that going on, and the fact that they said in the last reading by the next full moon, and also when I came out that last reading, one thing that I realised afterwards, we had the Queen of Pentacles on the bottom of the pack underneath, and that represents Taurus. She's feminine and she's earth, and that's Taurus. So underlying is Taurus, and the next full moon is Taurus. That's the one that comes in November, and they were saying by that full moon. So we'll have to see what happens. First card out is what you desire. Desires not met, right? So this is for the people then, this reading, for the desires still not met. So this reading is for people that still haven't heard back from their twin, basically, that are still in separation, waiting to hear back, waiting for that thing to come out of thin air, out of the blue. So let's have a look at that. And there's a lot of us on the same trajectory for that have cleared everything and are just like in this final location. We'll just give it a bit more of a shuffle. So the imagery they're giving me as well for this moon, like this water birth, is like someone on a water slide. As well, it's like, like coming through the birth, like sliding through with ease, they're saying. It's just like going to slide out. So communication coming with ease. It's going to be very human. So it's like, it's not going to be, it will be a bombshell, obviously, because it's a connection, energetic connection. And see, I can't even get these cards together today. That's how like triggery it is in that really annoying, irritating way. Not a bombshell, right? So it's spiritual. Everybody knows that. It's an energetic connection, twin flame. So it's out of this, it's an out of this world connection, right? But when it comes back to fruition, physical reunion, it's in a really mundane way. It's human again. So although it is a bombshell in terms of like, wow, yeah, that's the truth of it, it's something that's coming through that's really small fry, really lower arcana, really mundane, like, hello, how are you? That kind of thing. Like no like huge bouquet of roses coming through or anything like that, just a really small everyday communication is what I get. Let's have a look. So we are in reunion energy basically, and that's from this moon to the next full moon, which will be 2 weeks, and I don't know exactly when the next full moon is, sometime in November, obviously. Right, 10 of Wands, ending energetically. King of Pentacles, masculine, manifest. The Sun, good. Good energetically, you could say. High Priestess, higher self. And the spiritual process. 3 of Pentacles, creation in the physical. Judgment, destiny. And that's 2-2 as well, that card. 7 of Wands, resistance. Knight of Cups, which is love moving forward, romantic love. And the moon. Got the moon coming out there. And then underneath what we've got is timing, the Wheel of Fortune. So this is time, right? And created in the physical. So that's through your physical experience. So this 3 is really, really important. Just look at what comes up for you because, for example, one thing I haven't mentioned is that I've been injured and I've had 3 injuries and none of them have healed yet. And what happened was they happened last week and it looked like they weren't going to heal for like a whole week. It's really weird. And so they're bringing up a lot of fear, like, you know, looking at it like it's not healing. One is a massive cut on my hand from my dog. We collided when we were both going for a ball and it just wasn't pulling together. And the other is I fell over and hurt my shoulder and it didn't look bruised. And as the week has gone on, it's got redder and redder and redder, like the bruise is coming to the surface, which is not the way you should bruise, right? It should show straight away and then it diminishes, but this is coming the other way. There's been a lot of fear trying to come up with these things. There's another one as well, which is my right hip, but that's an old injury, the right hip. So I won't mention that, although it just came up today, actually. So they come in 3s, right? So pain is necessary because pain is healing resistance. So the resistance comes up through your physical body, through the pain, and also in relation to the pain. So fear can manifest as part of this process, so you overcome the fear. So when this started to happen to me, these 2 injuries in particular, and the other one coming up like, oh God, not that old thing again. And the fear with that one is, oh God, now I've got 3 injuries because I can hardly move this arm. I can't do much with this hand because it's open. And now I'm funny walking. So there's fear of like, what am I going to be able to do? And there's fear of like, is that ever going to heal? And do I need stitches? But with all that coming up, right, what happened yesterday, which was the day before the moon, is I just decided I'd had enough. And I was like, I'm just taking the plaster off that. I actually had a big bandage on it. Taking all that off, just put a little plaster on it just to stop things getting in it. The shoulder, I'm just ignoring it now. The hip, I'm completely ignoring. So I'm just ignoring the fear, basically. So fear coming up in your physical body for you to ignore the fear. So notice how that's coming up. In the physical dimension, it coming in 3s as well. So you might have 3 big triggers coming along. So just to know that as well, right? So it's created through your physical experience, timing, 3, creation. And then we're going to go on there in the middle. Fear, ending of fear, 5 of Swords, which is bringing it to conclusion, the end of the battle, dark to light, so bringing it all to the light, which means just basically overcoming fear. And timing underneath, and then we've got what's on the horizon, and again, number 3 again. It's energetically there, created. Just had the door go, to answer the door. Right, so Three of Wands, so what is energetically on its way, and also created energetically, created physically, ending of the dark to light, and timing underneath. So it's on its way, basically. And also the 3 Wands, 111. So again, 1st of November could be. Right. So you might have to bear with me because that door going has woken my dog up now. So we'll have to see how this goes. Right. 10 of Wands. Oh, look, there he is, the Emperor. So masculine made manifest again. So everything that you go through energetically, and that includes everything that happens in the physical dimension, all the triggers that come up, is creating what you're bringing forward in terms of your twin flame. So it creates inside of you through you owning your masculine energy and not being afraid of that side of yourself. That is very human as well, because the masculine is the ego, which is a human, which is the brain. It's not the higher self, right? So it's you being really, really proud of who you are in the physical without any kind of like taken away from yourself, any worry or fear. So that's basically what that is, pride. The masculine pride, ending energetically. The masculine pride is just allows you to do anything you want. It's like absolutely no fear. It's like it doesn't have it even how to say it. It just is. It's formed, right? 4, which is also formation, the moon. And then we've got 5 of Wands, which is little triggers, right? So coming up with the moon, lots of little triggers. I mean, I could say the door going just then, that's a little trigger. Did I get angry? No, I just paused, got up, answered it. My dog waking up when she was fast asleep. It's trigger. You know, these little things are triggers. They can set you off, or you can just own your power against them. So that's what that's about, this moon as well. And you'll notice I'm breathing really deeply as well, because I'm having to really hang on to myself at this moon. And keep letting go, basically, because I can feel the energy rising up really, really strongly in terms of like just wanting to set me off in some kind of like illusion of separation, like trigger, basically. An alignment, bring me into an alignment. Right. The Sun, and then we got fruition coming up, 7 of Pentacles, so fruition in the physical world. So everything is good energetically. So when you feel yourself like that, maybe you're going to notice that as well, that you just like, it's like you're not going towards the triggers, but there is, because it's masculine energy coming up inside of you, it might feel really like you've got to be really strong as well, in terms of like you holding on to your energy and not letting yourself get knocked off balance. Because when they're getting ready to make a move, then it's going to feel like that's how they feel, right? They're going to have to like man up, basically. Even if it's a woman, man up. So you're going to feel that coming through you, like you will be manning up. And there's a lot of duality as well, like I said. So I just explained as well how I've noticed it. I'm 2 people now. So I'm one person when I'm at home with my dog and we're here and we're safe and it's comfy and it's all snuggly and we're relaxed. And then when we go on walks, I become the masculine. It's like quick march. And we're like, she's, getting trained and she just keep moving, and not like veer off and like get involved in eating rabbit poo and trying to play with aggressive dogs or anything like that. So I'm having to really pull it together and pull her together. And it's a really unpleasant experience having to be in that masculine energy so strongly. But it's necessary. So it's just being all parts of yourself, basically. It's something now about owning all parts of yourself. And that's just automatic as well. It's not something you're going to have to think about doing. It's just something you will arrive at. 7 of Wands, because it's overcoming resistance and overcoming fear, basically. And all fear is resistance. So it's not being afraid, basically. One of the things, and I keep going back to myself, but it's a way to explain it. One of the things I've had happen with people, there's 2 people I've met on my walks that both seem to be really friendly and was chatting to. And yesterday and today, I ran into both of them, but at a distance, and it appeared that both of them were ignoring me. So it's that kind of trigger. It's like, what wants to come up in the human sense is like, oh God, what have I done? And why are they ignoring me? And are they walking away from me? And have they seen me and they're pretending they haven't seen me? Like, all that coming up, right? And then just this a masculine energy, like, no, forget it. Don't think about it. It's nothing. It's fear. Right? This like really strong, like overcoming of the fear of what could be taking you into fear. So that coming up, right? So just look at what goes on in terms of that, because that's what comes up. It's masculine psyche. It's like, what they're going to think of me? Are they going to ignore me? You know, this is their fears of coming forward. So all that is going to appear in your physical dimension for you to like take your power back from, basically. Power of resistance. The resistance is the not feeling good. So what's asking me to not feel good in my physical experience, these people look potentially like they're ignoring me. What's asking me to go into fear and not love myself there is me taking my power back, and also higher self, and just saying, well, it's meant to be how it is, because it's asking me to go into fear, and that's why it's coming up. And I'm not going to go into fear because I know why it's coming up, because it's not about me, it's about the process. See? And that's what higher self is there, high priestess. And that's what the spiritual experience is. The spiritual experience, the twin flame process, is your physical life and everything that goes on in it. It's not something that is unrelated. People think spirituality is completely unrelated to their physical existence. It is entirely their physical existence. It is everything that happens to you in your manifested existence is your spiritual experience. That's it. And there isn't anything that isn't. It is nothing that is taken away from that, right? There is nothing that takes you away from that. That's what religion is. That's putting on a white robe and going and singing a hymn and pretending you're not connected to your personal self. That's not spiritual. Your spiritual experience is your personal self. And if your personal self is something that, if it wasn't thinking it was trying to be spiritual, would shout fuck off in the street, then that is your spiritual experience, right? Because anything else is not. Anything else is a priest that pretends they don't shout fuck off, but actually they just abuse young boys or girls. You see the difference? So there's the difference. So not all of them, obviously, but just as an example. Pious lies. Right, so we've got the high priestess, the spiritual experience, which is being completely involved in your physical life and understanding that you are primarily an energetic being, always infinitely, and without time, and you're only human sometimes, but nonetheless you are fully engaged in your human experience, as you know that it is what you are here for. That is the spiritual experience. And separation. So your separation from your twin being that spiritual experience, and nothing being wrong in that separation, which is one of the hardest knocks to take in this process, because at first it's all about the separation and it being a horrible experience, right? And then it's about the separation being entirely what you're here for, which is exact opposite, right, of it being a horrible experience. There's no way you can look at it again as it being a horrible experience and being involved in that emotionally, because you can't put that money there. You can't put that value there, because the value has to be understanding that the separation is completely, entirely as it should be, because your spiritual experience is about surmounting those feelings that are around that separation and coming into power. So, it's basically duality again, right? It's turning over the stone on what it is that you think it is. And also emotions are disregarded in that, because the spiritual experience is, you know, beyond being human, you don't have emotions. There is no emotions. So it's a rising above emotions. It's just a coming into strength and power, basically, and not being corded to emotions. You could say the triggers are asking you to become emotional. Oh, I'm going to worry about what those people think about me. I'm going to feel upset about it all day. I might feel ashamed. I might keep looking at it and thinking, what's wrong with me? What did I say? What did I do? That's all emotions. Power over emotions is not doing that. For you to have power over your emotions as the feminine creator of the process is bringing the masculine into power. So there's a good masculine, you see. There's the power of the masculine, which is the no. The no, I'm not going to feel that. I'm not going to unlove myself. So, destiny, judgment. There, Queen of Wands. So that is the creative feminine and power of your vibration, and another 3. So it's created through your vibration. The destiny is created through your vibration of self, which is ultimate power over your physical. It's just feeling like everything is exactly as it should be, exactly the way it is. Bringing that down onto the head of a pin, so there's no confusion over that. Everything has been exactly how it's meant to be. It always will be. It still is. And in that, there is nothing that can make you fluctuate out your feeling good. There isn't anything, because emotions can't take you out of balance, like one of those spinning tops. You know, they can't take you off in any direction like that. Neither can the mind, because it's not for the mind to say what's right or wrong. It's the vibration to say everything is always right and expand through that and multiply through that. Everything is always all right. And if you think, and you not think, if you just know, if you understand everything is always all right, you're going to multiply the energy of everything is always all right, and everything will always be all right, because our energy multiplies as you feel, as you allow it to be. I keep saying feel it, don't I, and think it. It's all part of it. It's part of the human thing, because you use the mind and you distance from the emotions to allow yourself to be in the energy of everything is all right all the time. And a lot of that is not thinking and not feeling, right? Because it's only the one thing. Everything is all right all the time. And then create through that, multiply through that. Right. King of Pentacles, Eight of Swords, because it's a connection through the mind, right? So that if your mind clears to the point where all you have going on in the mind is everything is all right all of the time, it's exactly how it should be all of the time. I'm not going to deviate I'm not going to deviate anywhere in terms of, should I feel this about that? Should I worry about this? Should I care about that? Should I think about that person over there who I hardly know? I don't even know them. Why would you? No, of course you're not going to think about that, because it's not important. What's important is just feeling good and feeling fine and enjoying yourself and having a nice time and relaxing and putting your feet up, which thoroughly you should be doing on a new moon, if not all the time. Right? So much letting go is coming through this, right? And then the Knight of Cups there, two people, Two of Pentacles, and romance moving forward. So, and again, it's like, look at those cards, right? Knight of Cups is pretty much a lower arcana card. It's not major. Two of Pentacles, it's lower arcana. So this might be an awesome and amazing, what you'd like to call a spiritual experience. Everything is a spiritual experience, though. Just being alive is a spiritual experience, right? So when this thing comes back down to earth, like the man that fell to earth, like the masculine reforms into the physical, it's going to come in as a physical thing that is as far removed from a spiritual experience as is trying to have a spiritual experience. Because the whole thing is about you coming back down from a spiritual experience into like yourself, the return to self, right? I can be who I am. And I can just do what, if that's me, if I shout fuck off a lot, if I shout it several times a day, which I do actually, that's me. That is how I am. Shout it louder. Sing it. That's all I suggest, it's like own it. Own whatever you are, whoever you are. Allow yourself to be whoever you are, whatever you are. And don't be afraid of yourself and don't be afraid of life. That's what this moon is about. It's cascading through. So it isn't, even though, I'm saying it, but you probably don't even need to be told it. You probably are just doing it anyway if you're in this process. And get into a place where you actually literally do not give a fuck about anybody or anyone else or what they think or who they are or even what happens or what's next. Because you're understanding it's just about feeling good right now. And in that there's taking no prisoners, no holds are barred, and there's no resistance at all, right? There's no fear in the present moment. Fruition good, energetically, and the resistance and the fear, and the turning of the dark to light. And light is simply happiness, and feeling good, and feeling fine. So, and that's coming through a transformative energy of a Scorpio eclipse, new moon. So it's all good. Everything is fine, basically, is what they're saying. It might feel like a roller coaster. It might be a roller coaster. There might be stuff going on, but what's going on is meant to be going on. So celebrate and rejoice it all. Rejoice in your enemies, whoever they may be. Eight of Wands, connection, vibrationally, infinite connection. So that's everything. And the brain of the feminine, Queen of Swords. So clarity through the brain, knowingness, just clear thinking, clearly not thinking, clearly not caring, clearly not giving a shit, basically. Queen of Pentacles through the physical experience. It's like the end of it. It's just the end of it. It's just reaching the end of the road, basically. Yeah. You might feel like you can't think, like your brain is just, it's not in a place for thinking. I'm going to get one more out. Energetic connection, because there can be no thinking in action. Masculine, I'm going to go there now, actually. Ending, tower, on the masculine made manifest. Ending in the brain, so you're going to feel like you can't think, maybe. There's no thinking to do, there's nothing to think about. Like, I will not think about that. I cannot think about that. I'm not going to think about that. Right, and have fun instead, they're saying. And then we've got Page of Pentacles, which is form taking shape. So it's coming, it's coming, it's coming, it's coming. I'm going to go there again as well. Let's have a look. Emotions, Seven of Cups, process. Two of Cups, twin flames. So we've got ending energetically, emotional, process. Through the triggers, twin flames. So that's all of that. That's what's going on. And just get one more on that. Guided by spirit. Again, Page of Wands, guided by spirit. So everything is exactly as it's meant to be at any given time. Rejoice in it all. Love it all. Love comes from love. Ace of Cups. Just remember, love comes from love. So that is just loving everything equally. Not assigning it a role. Is it good or is it bad? It's all good. Love it all. Love your experience of being alive. Ace of Swords. Communication. Brand new communication. Hermit. Wisdom. What is the wisdom? That love comes from love. So love it all. The lovers. Right, so that's what the twin flame experience is about, the duality of it. You've got to love it all, the masculine and the feminine. Love every single side of yourself. Two sides. Coming out again. Oh, that was a let go. Hang on, where's it gone? It's gone now. It's gone. Right, so that's it. Leave it at that. Lots of love. If anybody wants to get a reading, all my details in the description box below. Take care. See you next time. Bye.